There it is. We are live. Lions fans, it may have been 4 days ago, but it felt like it just happened yesterday. We're here to talk about our Lions divisional win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's get into it. All right, son. I am actually still thinking about that big win on Sunday, the win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that is taking our boys to the NFC Championship game. What was your overall thoughts on the game?
Oh man, well, first off, it was a win, so that's really all that matters. But I would say the game went a little different than how I expected. To be honest, the Lions were they pretty much had the game handled from the first quarter all the way to the fourth quarter. Um, so honestly, that was my main takeaway. It was kind of annoying the run game wasn't they weren't utilizing the run game as much as I wanted them to, but I guess it didn't really matter. I mean, because remember the first drive, I mean it was a three and out within like 30 seconds, and I think it's because they did like three straight passes, and I feel like they probably should have started the game out a little slower, but well, it worked. So
Yeah, I would agree. As far as our Lions go, I agree with you. I thought that we would really control the game with the run better than we did. The 31 points that the Lions scored, I'm not surprised about. The 23, I don't want to say I'm surprised that the Buccaneers had 23 points, but I think if we could have controlled the run game, we could have probably limited, maybe brought them to maybe 6 points less. Could have been 31-17. But there is something in the game that I want to talk about. I was actually listening to my guy Ross Tucker, and I want to play a quick little clip about something that I noticed in the game, and I want to see if you noticed it too. Here it is.
All right, Ross, we'll start. What were your overall themes from the divisional round this past weekend?
So there were several, Jack, several that jumped out to me. Number one, the spotting of the ball by officials was a major issue in all of the games. At least once in every game, Jack, there was a really bad spot that the coach had to challenge or was an issue or they had to respot it. It's not good.
That was one of my takeaways from the game. I actually rewatched the game because I DVR'd it when
okay,
I rewatched it on Tuesday, and now we saw this live at the game. Sam Laporta, and if I'm not mistaken, Amar St. Brown had obvious first downs where the refs completely did not mark the ball right,
yeah.
for the Lions. And yes, we came away with the win, but I'm thinking about that could be very costly this week against the 49ers. The refs seem to just not be on their game this off season, I'm sorry, this postseason.
The
But
whole
let's
year.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying the refs have kind of been iffy the whole year.
Yes,
It
they
hasn't really just been the Lions that have been getting, we always talk about the Lions getting screwed by teams and stuff. It really seems like I remember, I don't know if it was the Steelers Ravens game in the regular season, but there was a lot of games where the refs played a big part in deciding how the game goes. So I feel like they need to do some serious people talk about making refs being paid. I had no idea refs wasn't a full time job in the NFL until they
right,
started
right.
talking about it. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that. That is not now the thing is they do get paid pretty well, but yes, it's technically not a full-time job. It's really a seasonal job. Now, I know all refs don't get a chance to ref in the playoffs. Honestly, when you get to the playoffs, it's supposed to be the best of the best. It's supposed to be the best teams of referees in the playoffs. So I know it has been an issue all season, but let's break down our Lions real quick. The first thing that I want to talk about is let's talk about the defense. The defense gave up 23 points to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What did you see good and bad on our defense, and were you surprised?
I what I saw good was, in my opinion, I don't know how many sacks we got on Baker Mayfield, but we got at least two, and it seemed like for the most part we were getting good pressure in the passing game, and I really like that a lot. The bad was obviously the passing game and the way that the receivers were cooking. And like I'm in our video, I think I said that Mike Evans was gonna have. We already knew he was gonna have over 100 yards,
Right.
and he did. He had 147 yards. Cade Oten had 65 yards. Chris Godwin had 40, and so on and so forth. A lot of receivers had at least. Let me count this: one, two, three, five receivers had at least 40 yards receiving, and also like six people had at least two receptions as well.
Right.
But I guess we'll talk more about the 49ers later. That's going to be a major problem versus the 49ers
Yes.
if
On the
they don't
def,
tighten up the pass game, which I don't think they will. Or
I'm
the
gonna
pass.
tell you. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish. Go ahead.
No, that's all I.
I'm gonna tell you what disturbed me on the defense. Do you know that I actually read a statistic today that said that the Lions had the number two run defense in the NFL? I had no idea that the Lions had the second best run defense in the NFL.
No,
But
I
what
did not.
bothered me was Rashard White. I don't know why, but they seemed like they could not bring him down. Now I don't know exactly how big he is, but he's not as big as Derrick Henry. Now, if that was Derrick Henry, or this was back in Jim Brown back in the 1960s, or Earl Campbell in the 70s, I would get it because those were huge, strong running backs. But for some reason, they seemed like they couldn't get down. Like, he would always get through the first defender. A lot of arm tackles, and honestly, a lot of him just running hard. Now, I'm not saying that he ran over the Lions. It was just weird to me that they could not seem to bring him down. I would say that the front seven, well, I would say the front six, because we run that big nickel, played a major part in the game. Aaron Glenn, in my opinion, from what I've seen, the second half of the season to the playoffs, I think he is a good defensive coordinator. A lot of Lions fans have been we see it on Twitter all the time. Aaron Glenn stinks. Aaron Glenn this. You have to have the players. And if you look at his scheme, he's doing everything he can to get pressure on the quarterback. I like the fact that Aaron Glenn is disguising these looks. Really, Aiden Hutchinson is the only pure pass rusher we have. So he has
Right.
to bring Anzalone, Jack Campbell, and Derek Barnes from the linebacker spot. He has to bring Melifon Wu and Branch off those edges, and he does a good job of disguising it. I know we're going to talk about the 49ers in a couple of days, but he's going to have to keep that coming. The DBs, particularly the corners, are to me are still the main issue. I get it. I know Mike Evans is the size of a small tight end, but still, they could do nothing with him.
Yeah, nothing at all.
Yes, and granted, I know it's hard. I know it's hard to cover a guy that's 6'5", 230. I get that. He's big, he's strong. I get it, but we just couldn't do anything with him. Okay, let's move on to the offense. The offense was the offense. They put up 31 points. What was your overall thoughts on the offense against the Buccaneers?
Yeah, no, I thought Jared Goff looked good. I mean, I guess the run, okay. I mean, Jameer Gibbs. I mean, I guess the run game wasn't as bad as I'm saying. I mean, Jameer Gibbs was 9 carries for 74 yards, but still, though, it usually is a little better than that. Um, my main takeaway was that Jared Goff. He looked a lot more aggressive than he has earlier in the season, and it was kind of cool to see that he was actually going for some rushing attempts too, even though he's not exactly a rushing quarterback.
No,
But
he
to
is
me, it
not.
just shows that he's trying to. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't try. I'm just saying shows that he's putting in that extra effort. Like they know what's at stake, and they're going to do anything they can to win the game. Amon St. Brown had another killer game, and we know really. Um, I forgot he's not a rookie, but Sam Laporta and Jameer Gibbs. Jameer Gibbs, surprisingly, he was the number three. He was number three on our receiving list. He had 4 receptions for 40 yards, so that's about 10 yards a catch. And it was nice to see Jameson Williams get some targets as well.
It was. We have a crazy killer combination with these rookies. Gibbs with the running back, Laporta at tight end. Laporta had 9 receptions, if I'm not mistaken. I
Hmm.
mean, I mean, for a guy who has a knee injury, he's looking
Yeah.
pretty good. And did you see that we picked up Zach Ertz because Brock Wright
Yeah.
is going to be hurt for this game?
Yeah,
So
which
go
is
ahead.
how old is Zach Ertz?
How late 20s or early 30s, maybe?
Better than I mean, he's better than Brock Wright, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, a few years ago when he was with the Eagles, Zach Ertz was a pretty good tight end. I think that if he's in the shape that we think he's in, I think that he can actually get out there and give us something. I think that he could actually be a factor in the game this week. With the way that we use 2 and 3 tight ends at a time. I thought the offense looked good from Jared Goff. Now, honestly, I'm gonna tell you who else looked good too. The offensive line. And did you realize that Jonah Jackson was out, and our offensive line looked dominant
And that's
on
the thing.
Sunday?
I got to give it to Brad Holmes and them. I mean, even when a starter is out, I can never tell because in a starter is it's always seeming like a starter's out on the offensive line. It
Right,
doesn't really matter because we have really good depth at the position. So
right.
no, I did not know he was out though.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was definitely out. It was we were in the house. If you all follow our TikTok and our Twitter and our YouTube, you will see some clips and videos of us just having fun at the game. I mean, it was an absolute blast.
Yeah,
I recently just talked to some of my coworkers who were at the games as well, and I mean, we're still talking about it. That's how fun that game was. It was good for the Lions to be a winner, and this is a mess. And I want to say something to the other 31 teams in the NFL because there's a lot of I'm gonna call them so-called football fans out here who have just been riding Lions fans like us. Oh, these guys stink. They're terrible. I can't wait for them to lose. You guys are obnoxious. You guys are this. Listen, people, some of you are fans of teams where the organizations have been great for decades. The Patriots, the 49ers come to mind immediately. If back in the 90s, the Cowboys, even recently the Bengals have had good success. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl in 2021, a year that nobody thought they would go to the Super Bowl. Some of you have had it real good. By the way, the Detroit Lions are the only team in the NFC that has never been to the Super Bowl. So you have to understand that we're going to be very excited. And if you're a football fan, you should be excited for us. I'm not saying you should root for our team. I'm saying you should be excited for us to say, hey, man, good for them. Good for them to finally be getting somewhere. That's why this is kind of a one in a lifetime thing, because if the Lions continue to be a winner, I'm not saying you take it for granted. But if we make the playoffs in 25, 26, 27, by that time, it's like, okay, now we're expecting to win. Kind of like how the Patriots had their run, how the Chiefs are having a run right now. Chiefs fans expect the Chiefs to win. It's not like, oh, man, we're in the AFC Championship. They expect to be in the AFC Championship game. That's where we want to get people. We're not there yet. So it'd be nice if some of these fans would back off and say, you know what, the Lions have been terrible for years, and we have been. I'm gonna go back to 1991, son. I was 16. I was at that divisional game against the Cowboys from 1991 to 2023, son. If I'm not mistaken, we made the play. Son, that is 32 years. We made the playoffs in 91, 93, 94, 98. If memory serves me right, I'm sorry, no, I'm at 97, not 98. If memory serves me right, we didn't make the playoffs again until 2011. Then we did in 2016 and then 2023. That's 6 times in 32 years. Maybe it's
yeah,
seven. I'm missing the year in there. So let's say I'm off one. That's 7 times in 31 years the Lions have been to the playoffs, which means 23, 24 of those years, we didn't even make the playoffs. And one of those years was 0-16. So you
yeah.
have to understand why we're so excited. Whether we win or lose this week, it's been a good season, and people have to understand why we're so excited. So what is your takeaway, son? This is, you see, in your lifetime, this is not their first winning season, but this is the best season in your lifetime. What's been your takeaway from the season?
Man, I would say it's just been a joy to finally watch them win. Um, I just still think about that Ravens game when Justin Tucker made that 60-yard field goal,
Mm,
and there was a point where it just seemed like there was no way we could win a game. I mean, it literally felt like
yes,
that.
it
Um,
did.
so now to see them so close to where they are, and then, like you said, we'll talk about that
Yes,
more in our preview show. But man, I'm telling you guys, they're going to go down there and they're going to smack the 49ers in the mouth. I can feel it. If I was thinking about this earlier. If we can
hmm
taste it as fans, we have to think about the players. The players can feel it. And I'm telling y'all, they want it more
yes,
than the 49ers do. And I think the Lions are really going to show them what kind of team we are. So yeah, but we'll talk about that more. But I'm saying don't be
yes,
surprised. Don't be surprised that the Lions beat the 49ers pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. But we'll just see though.
yeah.
But
We'll
no,
see.
so far I've been happy with the season. I'll be honest, I would be disappointed if we just got smoked by the 49ers, if it was like 35-10. I mean, yeah, it's still a good season, but like I'm kind of a glass half full kind of guy, I guess. I feel like they can beat the 49ers. So I think that's what they need to do. But we'll just have to see. But no, it's been an amazing season.
Eh,
For people that haven't been to game, oh sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say for people that haven't been to any home games, you guys can just the vibes in Detroit are just they're just different than what they have been in the past. It's really crazy. It's really cool to see.
It is. It is. It was great downtown. Everybody was happy. Everybody. It's good to be a winner. That's just really the bottom line of it. And we'll touch on that in a day or so when we do our preview for the NFC Championship game. But yes, I'm like you. I'm very excited, and it's nothing wrong with expecting to win. I mean, I'm also I'm an all Detroit fan. I'm a Pistons fan. Back when I was a kid in the '80s, when the Pistons were right, I mean, they were right there to beat the Celtics, the team, the best team in the East, and we right there. And then that crazy play happened. If you guys ever watch highlights of great games, it was all we had to do was get the ball in bounds, and Isaiah Thomas throws the ball in bounds, and Larry Bird comes literally out of nowhere, steals the ball, no look pass somehow to Dennis Johnson, and they go up ahead and then we just we didn't recover. And I remember how sad we were because they were right there. Like, man, we had it. That's how we feel with these Lions. Yes, it's been a successful season, but man, they're right there. They're 60 minutes away from making it to the Super Bowl. So we are expecting them to win. Uh Pretty much, Lions fans. I mean, that's pretty much it for the game. We just want to make sure we get in here and talked about the game. You see on the screen right there our TikTok. Go over there and follow us there. At the bottom of the screen on the ticker, you see our Twitter/X page. Follow us over there, and our YouTube page because this video will be on YouTube. Follow us over there. Let's just have fun with the football fans and Lions fans. Son, did we forget anything about the game?
No, I don't think so. Go Lions.
Go Lions. Okay, we'll talk to you in a couple of days with our preview of the NFC Championship game. Peace.
Peace.